And welcome back to another episode of Craig Plays Games. I am your host, Craig, and we are here live with you for another episode of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. This is our 24th video in this series, as we are on episode 5, and this is the 7th part of our series within this episode. Before we dive on into the story and pick it back up, let's get our plugs on out of the way. You are checking us out here on YouTube at Craig Plays Games. If you've enjoyed the videos we've been doing so far, please feel free to hit that like button so you can show your support. Hit that subscribe button up above so you can join our family. And then go ahead and hit that notify bell so you're made aware of when we go live with a new video. On average, we upload a new video once per day between our YouTube playthrough series as well as our Twitch live streams. You can find us over on Twitch at Craig Plays Games, where we stream about 4 times a week over there, playing a multitude of multiplayer or online-only games. Go ahead and check us out over there. If you hit the follow button, you will be notified when we go live, and you can come hang out with us in the chat room. It's designed to be interactive. We're there to hang out with you guys and show support back and forth. So feel free to say hey in the chat and have some fun with us. You can also find us on Twitter at Craig Plays Games, where we post updates to our schedule, general commentary, and then we are also interactive over there as well. So if you hit that follow button over there and tweet at us, we definitely will tweet back at you. So with that being said, let's dive back into the game. So we've been just wrapping up the second part of the trial. So there's 3 parts trials, usually within the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy games. So we just finished the second part of the trial, and it definitely feels like there's a lot going on here in regards to the death of Detective Goodman. We know that former Detective Marshall was involved somehow in the police department part of the crime. So there's definitely a lot going on here. Goodman may have died at the police department, may have died in the prosecutor's parking lot. We don't really know. So let's go ahead and dive on into the last bit of our investigation. Definitely want to save Episode 5, Rise from the Ashes, as we dive back into the investigation. Alright, back at the law offices. Emma looks sad. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Man. I never knew that the SO9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. That's interesting. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. Okay. What did you have to do with those killings? On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. Wow. So that means you... Yes, I was a witness in the trial. Definitely didn't see that one coming. Oh, wrong button. So, let's talk about that incident. Happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. And suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office, Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. Before he could, Marshall tackled him. And I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed him. Do you remember to testify to that? No. I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up, you mean, provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Edgeworth used it. But I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Okay. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. He was stabbed right in front of this girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently, I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. You've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. So you were 14. I mean, that's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. Let's see. Trying to understand what makes her tick, but there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? Right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Really. Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. By the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. Why would she have an office at the prosecutor's? But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices in the questioning room are right across from the elevator. But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, she was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? After the Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Yeah, there's something else going on here. Alright, back at the detention center. Seems like I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence? I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? If you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Emma told me about you, about how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. Did you fill me in on the details? I mean, it's an unusual change, right? Suppose you have a right to know. I do. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. It seems to be the case that we've been dealing with, a lot of cases that are tied to the past. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Marshall can be. At trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Ms. Starr, said. About you stabbing Goodman with a knife. I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? This doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen her look so fazed before. Let's talk about you being a detective. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. He was a deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Definitely idolizes her. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes. He could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs. Yeah. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Gant, right? Yes. Gant and I share the same office and the same investigations. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Gant and Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he went straight to the office shared by Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene? Appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning him. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect Dark. During the struggle, it seems Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. Picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. So let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident? That's right. Quite a coincidence, Don't buy it. There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident, just by chance. And the case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Gant and I shared. The office that Gant now occupies by himself. The chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at that office, the site of the murder. I'm trying to get here. Marshall. Ever thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning? Que sera. You don't know where life will lead you. I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Hey, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today. Why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. No, definitely not. Tell me about the Dark trial. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either, all the other detectives thought so. Fishy how? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. You mean that switchblade knife with a broken tip? That was Dark's alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. Question. The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What? It means there is a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. But the facts had been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. Right, two scars, I guess. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Starr was fired and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. Hey, who are you talking about? Don't get upset. I mean Gant and Lana. Alright, how about Prosecutor Marshall? I got the looks, he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? He was 27. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. I mean, the King of Prosecutors Award. What are you looking at me like that for? So this award must have been used, because they said the tip was broken off. The day the SO9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as. That's right. It was the day of the evidence transfer. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning. By nightfall, there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently, someone tried to stop you. Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. The investigation lead, Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person in the force who hadn't heard of that duo. The case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana was transferred, right? Yeah, Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that you mentioned it, I might say something like that too. Tell me what happened to her. Sorry, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. On a secret. Weird. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it? It was enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. Someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. You're just drinking and drinking and drinking. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios. How do I get to Gant's office? Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision what to do about Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media in tomorrow's trial, that there's more chaos going on than Christmas and Thanksgiving put together. We'd like to have a look around Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. I mean, it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Yeah, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. What? This dude got an organ in his office. That's weird. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. And that's, at least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. That's interesting. Never could remember where C was. Really? Whoa, what is he doing here? Put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Righto, have you been swimming lately? No. Been, at trial and investigating. Mr. Marshall's conduct and Lana's provocative statement. Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Marshall's brother. Took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it. Oh. I think you're missing a piece of that award. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm gonna lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case is long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. Seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Gant did not request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. How do we get in there, though? Hey, pal. Gumshoe. Am I supposed to be in a meeting? I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt. Or is this a standing meeting? Are you walking around in the room? It's weird. From sitting so long? Exactly. Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Hey, have either of you seen Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? You know, he's under fire from the police department and the prosecutor's offices. It's almost like the battle is between you two in court. Sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana is a guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, as you know, there's always been a lot of rumors going around about him. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay? What joint? Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Edgeworth just might crack. SL9. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems concerned for him. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. When he killed Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl. That was me. Seems Gunshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it has something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? Powers of recollection never failed to impress. That's for sure. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Oh, let's finish. Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. Oh, it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. He killed... Okay. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in, yes, but in the middle of his question, he fled and murdered his final victim, Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. The last witness, aka Emma. Let's see. Let's present. Not this. Hey, is a tag attached with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker and was found in Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it? It was Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, plus it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? And that's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at that knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. And that's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. Stabbed in the back. Oh, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor was murdered. The chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that will make him change his mind. What do we have that could change his mind? Screwdriver's weird. And share a little advice with you as a detective. If you don't have a... that's not it. Anything. That's the ID car record, isn't it? Yes, there's only one number left to investigate. At 4:20 p.m., the victim, Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. Yeah, that's 1 too many, detective. Executive officer, I just might have a hunch. That doesn't get me in. Could be this. Okay, nope. Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors award that Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the awards ceremony? Of course, I got an award for diligence myself. Congrats. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently he's forgotten. People are keeping an eye for one ain't buying it. You're looking into the case for him? Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose. She forged the evidence. Anything else I have? Okay. Somewhere. Maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Where could I have seen that before? Gosh. Okay. Go through all this. Do I not have it yet? I don't think I have anything right now. Let's see. So she's not going to answer anything. Yep. No one's here today. Find all the answers by tomorrow. Let's see. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. Look, he's writing something. What are you doing here? You sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. It's another allegation to me. Cheer up, Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. I'm always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. I know what he was writing before. Come on, Miss Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy, Edgeworth? You're sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. That Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's fallen to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl is doing crawling around my feet. You didn't even look. What? Letter of resignation. Who's going to resign? You don't mean. Tired. I feel as if something inside me has died. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. The path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done, and no one else should forgive me either. Please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. I wonder if I can use it for anything. Know exactly what I can use it for. Alright. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it breaks down to, and nothing I do can erase that fact. Wait, you didn't know, did you? You mean that the evidence was falsified? The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, my responsibility as a prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Tomorrow. Are you ready for tomorrow? First, last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. Well, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's why my superiors are begging on. Never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? A list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. Only half as long as most lists. After Neil was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seems strange about it. Day of the crime. Could you tell us again what happened that day? The day Goodman was murdered? You participated in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving rewards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. What was it? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the office. That's the story we heard yesterday. That doesn't seem... There was something going on. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right. Yeah. Show him that picture. His picture was hanging on the wall in Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall, he had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Marshall was holding is a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. Story. Mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Oh, yeah, sure. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Let's see, so the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You have to ask Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Gant keeps popping up a lot now. Alright. Why is she here? Would either of you care for a quarter-pound of roast beef? I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. That's a weird thing to say. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in that incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't all be attributed to mere coincidence. Definitely not. Are you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness? No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Her hatred towards Lana dates back to 2 years ago. Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Weird. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Lana. The best of the best were put on that SO9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo, Gant and Lana. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you didn't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. What? After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties, most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. She always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. What? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She's being used. Him and Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation with Lana's second command. They were the best. Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. Magnetism. By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Yeah. Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him though. Yeah, definitely forged evidence. Back then everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Being used. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right, having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. You mean, that's why Lana was transferred? If he can control the chief prosecutor, he could control the office. That must have been his goal all along. How could he control her? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. Alas. Finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you. You listened to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Back to... Go here. Move into... That's really where I'm trying to go to. Oh, you're back. You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but then my answer is still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene of the SL9 incident. I'll have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. You know, I think this will do it. What's this piece of paper? No way. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice too, but I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence, but we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I made up my mind, but Here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with any of the lost item reports. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with him. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So let's let me do this, for his sake. Alright, Detective, thank you. Alright. Back to the chief's office. Here it goes. This is an office and a half. We're in. If anyone finds us now, Gumshoe's a goner. That happens. I'm counting on you to bail me out. What? Okay, everybody calm down. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Gumshoe, what are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong, so I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Hey, don't do that to my card. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. Got a bad feeling about this. Alright, let's examine. So we got a safe over here. Or it is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. Looks like a code needs to be inserted into this panel to open it. 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. You know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birthday. No, definitely not. I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Code confirmed. Access granted. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? Nobody's birthday. The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. I mean, that ID number? I think you're 1-7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That's Gant's ID number. Anyone care to look inside? Yeah, let's do that. Any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a piece of that jar. Something else in here too. A handprint. Looks like a piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. I think the chief made up the design. Oh, stop talking. It was just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. Piece of cloth with a handprint on it and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's got to be something we can show the detective. Oh, that jar is pretty simple. Did you ever look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Oh, those were the days. Yeah, it was like 2 days ago. Isn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right, one of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one that was in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Come on, Gumshoe. There we go. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead. Show us what a rookie can do. I can piece this together again. It'll prove Gant was knowing hiding evidence. Here it goes. Blood on there. Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the incident. Get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached is different from the others. There's a reddish line on it. That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? can't believe Marshall would do something like that. You know, officer? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. The size of the desk. But that paper he's reading in the desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this though. Look at the case name. SL9. What did you say? I said, I wonder what. No, about the evidence list. Normally they're twice as long. That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-size list of evidence. Seemed too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. So what's on there? It's a rodeo, isn't it? This armor and these weapons? Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First a pipe organ, now this armor. You know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone to this room? I say, I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. The chief may be hiding this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he'd... Okay, get it out. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Stained glass. They said he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Huge window. Sure as a sight to behold. Occasionally you hear him playing it from the criminal affairs department. It's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor in an entirely different building. Yeah, that's not cool. When a detective screws up, the chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except for the ringing in their ears. Instrument of punishment. Aren't the chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's besides the point. Okay, what's on this side? Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside. What are you trying to say? Ever since making detective, I always dreamed about doing something like that. That's a lot of dreams. So as long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired. Don't say that. These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleared them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey, this is when Lana and I went to that theme park. That's sad. So Lana's desk. Sure it's tidy. Meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of. Is he keeping a memory of her or in memory of the crime? That's a scary thought. This was taken on that day. The day Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. To receive him as a award trophy, Marshall took a picture here. They went along with Chief Gant to question Dark, but he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later. Alright. The desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yeah. The one using it now? No, sir. This is essentially his office. He practices a strict policy as preserving the crime scene. It's a strange reason to leave it here. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Possibly any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes? I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... You wouldn't be, no. No way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast. What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you. You don't just let it go at that. I'm sorry. So what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What do we think of him? Chief Gant, so it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go, ignore me again. Alright, we need to get the other piece away from him. I didn't need to assure you. Gotta stay positive. Okay, no problem with that. Okay, nothing there. Look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? It's a great idea. Alright, go to town. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. Not your fingerprints we want to take. Come on, this isn't time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Jeez, where's your sense of humor? Okay, Miss Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth, and once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. Alright, let's get this over with. What? That was weird. Okay. Skipping through all this again. Give him my best shot. What kind of result won't be getting a guy for matching prints, will it? But it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print. Let's try a different finger. Nope, nothing there either. Maybe this one. Looks like the fullest. Yeah, that's pretty good. There we go. That looks like Emma's. Why is it Emma's handprint? Who could this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match. Whose fingerprints were they? It seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be dark prints. Over here. What's going on here? What are the kids' prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from her for now. Here, maybe she'll hold on to this. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right? You in the coat? Whoa. We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. What? Just then, I thought of a certain detective. You mean me? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Oh, you in the coat? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But sir... get out. Oh, poor gumshoe. We'll be on our way too then. Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair. Why do you want her? You with the spiky hair? You're free to go. That's alright. Look, pal, if I told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits, but no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? But you say you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Anyway, you listening to me? I'm going to try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. Alright, Lana. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. No use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. Seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth. Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. Certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think more afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom may I ask is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Gant. Now you turn your back to me. You're addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry before what you did, specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the trick behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Gant. If you intend to accuse Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Gant falsified evidence in that case. Okay. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché. So as you surmise, I cannot disobey the chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. The murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Edgeworth's car. Wow. just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered him. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edward's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while I inspected the body. Murder weapon? You mean Edward's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That was Edward's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that's the reason for the bandage. Yes. Seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. Then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Bizarre. Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So you hid the knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have had a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it in the exhaust pipe, right? Then I called my sister to tell her what happened and ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked her? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. Now explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. Bad feeling. The truth is, after I received those orders from Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call to Jake Marshall. Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SO9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. Alana, you've earned my respect, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. To be continued. Man. So it looks like the next episode in our series will be the last one of this episode and of the first game. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's been a blast playing through another episode with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit that like button on our video here at Craig Plays Games on YouTube. Hit that the subscribe button up at the top to join our family, and hit that notify bell to be made aware of when we go live with another video. In addition, over at Twitch, where you can find us at Craig Plays Games, where we do about 4 live Twitch streams a week, playing a variety of games such as Apex Legends, online games, multiplayer games, those type of things. If you hit the follow button over there, you'll be made aware when we go live, and you can come hang out with us in the chat. Finally, we're over on Twitter at Craig Plays Games, where we post updates to our schedule and general commentary. If you follow us over there, shoot us a tweet. We definitely will respond back to you. That being said, thank you so much for hanging out with us. My name is Craig, and we'll see you here next time at Craig Plays Games.